Well, it's good to see you. Welcome to this noon hour, Doc B. It's good to see you today. And the first thing I wanted to do, just to have a little bit fun, is to do two truths and a lie with you, because some of the folks joining us know me and some of them know you. So why don't you go ahead and start? Two truths and a lie.
Okay, perfect. Here are my things. I was born in Seattle. I like zombie shows, and I like my coffee black.
Zombie shows, Seattle, and coffee black. I'm going to go with zombie shows. You don't really like zombie shows, do you?
No, actually, I do love zombie shows.
Okay, so which one was the lie?
Well, so I'm not strong enough to take my coffee black. I like lots of cream.
Lots of cream in your coffee?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
A little bit of coffee with my cream.
But you were born in Seattle, huh?
Yes. Yep.
That's
Pacific
fun.
Northwest.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So we're both Northwest friends then, aren't we?
Yes. Yeah.
Yay! That's so great. All right, who's in the chat? Cool. Your friend says you've got weak sauce.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Okay, two truths and a lie for me. I raced cars. My favorite drink is green tea, and I also have climbed mountains like Mount Rainier.
Wow.
Two truths and a lie. What do you think?
I feel like the racing cars would surprise me, so I'm going to go with that one.
Is that right?
Well, I'll stick with option A.
Ashley, should we tell him? All my people are not getting. My truths are, I don't like green tea. I mean, I like green tea, but it's not my favorite.
Yes. Okay. Fair enough.
Yes. But I have raced cars.
Wow.
And I started racing cars when I was like 12 years old. My dad met a guy in a bar, and all the best stories start out like that, right? And we started racing go-karts when I was young. And then when I was about 19 years old, I started racing cars, and it was delightful. So much fun. But when I was 23 years old, I had a delightful daughter and was pregnant, and decided that racing cars was no longer a risk I was willing to take.
Smart. Good.
Appropriate risks are something we could talk about right away as we begin our webinar, right? Understanding appropriate risks, because of course in this season we're being asked to stay home. And a risk that we're willing to take is maybe going out to the grocery store, or maybe going to pick up things for our kids' school. But an inappropriate risk, maybe not getting together with friends and family as much as we like to in this season. And one of the things we want to talk about today is what's working for you. And so if you want to put that in the comments, we'd love to hear what's working for you in this season. Doc B, what's working for you? What's working for you? You have two daughters at home, right?
I do, yes. Yeah, what's working for us right now is extra sleep. It's being at home. It's been a great opportunity to make sure we're getting plenty of sleep, and especially that's good for your immune system. And family meals has been working really well for us. There's no after school activities right now, so we're just home and together a lot, and I love it.
Yeah, nothing to run people around to all over the place, right? Yeah. Doc B, can you bring up all the people so that we can see all of them? Since it's such a small group, we might as well enjoy the faces of our people.
Okay, so let's figure out how to do that.
And I'll continue while we're working on some of the logistics here. That's the great thing about doing this now on a Saturday, getting to figure out all the kinks and all that. It is fun to get a chance to just see some of our people. Yeah. So clearly you've been doing homeschool, which is what we've been doing too. And the great thing about that is that we all do get to spend more time together. But one of the things I'm learning is to make sure and to still have some structure. How about you, Doc B? What kind of structures work at your house?
Well, one of my roles is as a chiropractor, and our office is still open, and so the
Yeah.
structure of our normal operating hours is still in place. So I am one of those people who really my schedule hasn't changed that much. So I know there's a lot of people who are not in that situation though.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Ashley saying opening all the blinds during the day has been something that's been helpful to her. And
Yeah.
that's a great entry into talking about sunlight. Ed is saying positive mental attitude, exercise, healthy food. Those are great, great things. Let's talk about sunshine for a minute, Doc B. So sunshine, vitamin D has been said to be the sunshine vitamin. Talk about why that's something that's helpful in this season.
Well, okay, so it's a really important topic, and vitamin D has actually been in the news a lot, just even this week. Several articles I see floating around social media about how important it is for your immune system. And so it's nice. I've been getting a lot of questions and kind of flooded with questions about vitamin D, and been able to clear up a lot of the misunderstandings. And one of them is sunshine. And, in fact, that is the very best source of vitamin D that you can get is sunshine. But here we are coming out of the winter months, and most people are just not spending enough time outside in the sun. And we find that, at least half the population is deficient in vitamin D, even though we're supposed to get it for free from the sun. And so there is, just a real
Wow.
need for a quality supplement.
Wow. At least half the population isn't getting enough vitamin D. Now, in the South, it's a little bit easier for us to get sunshine. I'm actually blocking myself from some sun right now because it is so beautiful and bright here. But folks in the North, particularly, struggle with this even more. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, it is. But even in the South, we work indoors underneath fluorescent lights, many of us. And we're just not. And that would be one of my tips right now. Another thing that is working for me is getting outdoors. Just because we're staying home doesn't mean you can't physically walk outside of your house. And just like you're I'm assuming in your backyard probably right now. We've been trying to spend a lot of time out in the yard, out in the backyard, even walking around the neighborhood, never coming more than 10 feet close to our neighbor. But still, this is a great opportunity to get outside. I mean, here in the Carolinas, it's beautiful and sunny right now. So
Yeah.
soak up these opportunities.
So I can hear my friend Ashley, even though she's not talking right now, I can hear her saying, yes, Dr. Brandan, however, I have allergies in this season. And so I'm frustrated because, yes, I want to get outside more, but it also causes me some trouble with my allergies. So would you talk about some of the dietary things that might be able to help in this season, in addition to making sure you get your vitamin D and getting some sunshine?
Okay, so a couple great things is, well, number one, that's a vicious cycle because actually vitamin D can help you with your allergies. Several studies about that we could even post later on the Facebook page. So another need for a supplement, because how are we going to get the allergies under control so that you can go back outside to naturally get the vitamin D? But also we want to be focusing on reducing inflammation and other nutrients that are going to help boost our immune system. And so this time of, with a viral pandemic facing our world right now, a lot of people are turning to vitamin C, which is great. Vitamin C is great for the immune system. A little known fact is that most vegetables are actually a better source of vitamin C than oranges. Everyone thinks they've got to eat oranges, which are great, but broccoli actually has twice as much vitamin C as an orange. So this is a plug for your green vegetables right
So You're saying eat your broccoli.
Eat your broccoli, eat your green vegetables, you know, asparagus, Brussels sprouts. Cauliflower is not green, but that's another great one. That's also these are also great sources of vitamin A, which is an additional fat-soluble vitamin and is very powerful for fighting off viral infections.
Okay, so talk more about reducing inflammation and how we can be doing that naturally, in addition to making sure we get our vitamin D from a good source.
Okay, so probably the biggest thing we can do, the most simple thing we can do to reduce inflammation right now, which will also boost immune function, is really cut down and limit the sugar, the sweets. You know, as I scroll through social media and see Facebook, a lot of people are talking about their, you know, apocalypse snacks, and they really don't seem healthy. And when
Yeah.
I've been at the grocery store, people have a lot of sweets and soda and chips and candy for their lockdown. And I would really encourage you to kind of ditch the junk food and focus on, you know, again, the vegetables, even frozen vegetables, fresh fruits, fresh produce. Um, you know, sugar is not only highly inflammatory, but it really weakens your immune system. So this is an especially critical time to be limiting that.
Yeah, that's so great. That's so helpful. So there's been a lot, as you mentioned earlier, of media about vitamin D. One of the things I wanted to highlight is that the former head of the CDC just this past week did say that vitamin D might be helpful in this season for boosting our immune systems. And why is that? What is it about vitamin D that that helps our immune systems?
Well, that is a great question. I love it. It's fascinating. Vitamin D has historically been known as the bone vitamin, and that's true. It does help strengthen your bones, but really, we now know that it's really the immune system vitamin. Specifically, it supports your white blood cell function, which essentially is your immune system. So white blood cells
Fascinating.
are, yeah, they're constantly, you know, flowing through your bloodstream, looking for invaders, and then, you know, seeking out and destroying those pathogens like viruses and bacteria. And vitamin D is integral in supporting that normal function.
Wow. That's so cool. All right. Some people are asking you some questions, I know, about vitamin D, because some people worry about their own deficiency levels. How do you find out? Am I deficient in vitamin D? Is this something that can really help me?
Yeah, this is a question I was just addressing even this morning on Facebook. Actually, is unfortunately a vitamin D test is not always included in your standard panel when you go for your yearly checkup, and so often you need to ask your doctor to include a vitamin D test in that panel. But that is really the best way to find out is get a simple blood test. There are some options for at-home blood tests, which we could really benefit from during this current season of lockdown. Um, but just, you know, depending upon which authority you look at, it's between 40 to 75% of the population worldwide is deficient in vitamin D. So, I mean, up to 75%, that's most people. So
Right.
in general, it's safe to conservatively, you know, supplement your diet with a good source of vitamin D because just basically everyone is deficient.
Yeah. Well, and what's the right amount? I feel like that's a question that can come up often. My friend was looking at ways to help improve her sleep, and some of the sleep aids that are natural come in many different dosages. How do I know how much vitamin D is the right amount for me?
Okay, so another great question. So the best way is to, again, get a blood test and know where you're starting, because then you can have a more informed strategy for improving those levels if they're low. I can tell you on the supplement that we sell, the capsules, it's a 5,000 IU capsule, which is a pretty safe amount for the general population to take on a daily level. If you were to get your vitamin D level tested and find out that you were very low, you would want to take more than that to raise it up. But that's what my family does. We take at least 5,000 IUs a day.
Okay, that sounds like a lot to me. So I was trying to do some research and understand what I can get naturally in the form of vitamin D. And we have duck eggs at our house because we
Okay.
have ducks here. I could have done that for two truths and a lie. Would you believe that I had ducks at my house?
I'm just in awe.
So we have ducks and they lay eggs and we eat them just like chicken eggs and they're delightful. But an egg only has about 50 at the high level, right? Chicken eggs probably around 30 or 40 and
Yep.
duck eggs around 50 IU for vitamin D. And you're saying 5,000. That's so much more. How many duck eggs would I have to eat in order to? I'm not that great at math, Dr. B, and I know that you are not either. So I'm
Sure.
not going to make you answer that question.
It's a lot of eggs.
But that's a lot of eggs, and it's a lot of broccoli too. I mean, seriously, how much broccoli and eggs and spinach and that kind of stuff would I have to eat in order to get the recommended amount of vitamin D?
Well, okay,
Seriously.
so that's another great point. Is there are very few sources dietary sources that are significant, that have significant amounts of vitamin D. So actually, here's a great. I did a video about this earlier this week. In order to get between 10 to 15,000 IUs of vitamin D from the sun, you would need to spend about, trying to remember exactly, 20 minutes in direct sunlight at the peak hours of the day, which is around noon in July, in your bathing suit.
Oh,
So
hey.
so the average person is not spending 20 minutes in their bathing suit in the direct sun at the lunch hour on a daily basis. Actually, I don't know anybody that does that.
No, I don't think anybody does that, especially when we get to be my age. Nobody's hanging out in their bathing suits so much.
Yeah, me neither.
Right, Renee? We're not spending time outside in our bathing suits all that much, and it just makes us laugh to think about it, right? Hey, I wanna thanks, Doc B. Let's keep talking. And I love Renee's laugh. It's one of my favorite things to hear her laughing. And I think laughter during this time is one of the most important things we can be doing to help keep ourselves sane in this time. And Renee, I know you've been through a lot of things, and so I imagine that laughter is a really important part of your self-care routine, making sure you give yourself permission to laugh, right?
That's absolutely true. I love to laugh, but not, I mean, I love a good joke. I love to smile. It's easier for me to smile than it is to be miserable. And what else are we going to do? We have to, we're believers, and we have to believe that this is what we're supposed to be going through. We may not like it, but this is where we're supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to talk more about that if I can, just discussing some things that are helping me and my clients in this season. One of them is we talked about already just a little bit, is having some sort of schedule in place. Not a rigid schedule, not a perfect schedule, but some sense of normalcy, because we're not going to school right now. The kids aren't headed off to school. We're not heading into the office, but we still need some sense of normalcy. And I like to get up early in the morning, but I know not everybody's like that. So what are you trying that's working for you? I'm getting up early and being consistent and kind with myself, even if I'm not getting up as early as I used to, is okay. What about you? What are you doing in that area of consistency with your schedule?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, anyone. Go ahead, Renee, you can start, and then Doc B will jump in too.
I actually am like the doctor. I work out of my house. So I have actually turned the switch up and been working even harder, watching my schedule. I also take care of a 93-year-old mother with dementia. And she said to me, "What's so different about this? I'm inside all the time anyway." So,
right.
But I've actually been, like I said, I have a much more stringent schedule now. I'm not being really hard on myself, but I'm contacting a lot of people, because what's going on now with my business is people are starting to say, "Hey, you could make money out of your house. And it's just, I have something to offer people. So they're really listening these days.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited by this.
That is
not
great.
excited about what we have to go through
Yeah.
to get it, but I'm just looking at, well, how could this help us and help anybody else that I talk to?
That's so great. And Renee and I talked about, Renee, I'm going to jump on a call with you. Renee's got a webinar at 1 o'clock, and I'm going to join her and encourage her in her business as well. So I'm excited about that. Brandan, what about you? Doc B, what are you doing to keep your schedule consistent for you and your family?
Well, so, I'm going into the office and keeping that normal schedule that way. And because of what's happening, there's been a lot of orders of vitamin D. So I'm staying extra busy that way also. We do have the kids at home, and that has changed. It's made the mornings a little bit more entertaining, shall we say. But, sticking with, so to be honest, trying to keep the youngest one's bedtime on a normal track has been helping to keep us sane. I see a lot of kids in the neighborhood staying up much later than usual, and I would like that for her, but for our sanity, we're sticking with a pretty reasonable bedtime right now.
That's great. That's great. That's been the same thing in our house. It's easy and tempting to want to stay up late watching Pirates of the Caribbean over and over again, or every episode that we can find of Seinfeld, but it is probably better for us to try to maintain some sense of normalcy. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is to learn to breathe slowly. I can get kind of excited about things. I'm a very emotional person, and so I can get angry fast. I can get happy fast. I'm like, woo! And so learning how to breathe slowly and meditation and mindfulness has been really helpful to me. And here's just a test for you. If you're noticing that your chest is tight and you're feeling a little bit anxious, you can count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So just slow your heart rate down and catch yourself getting anxious, right? Even if, and then you can notice, is there a reason that I'm anxious? There's a lot of things changing in the world, but am I safe right here where I am? Am I alive right now at this time? And am I going to be okay? And making a decision to say, yes, I'm going to be okay. And smiling at whatever questions come up or whatever thoughts come up in those moments is just been really helpful to me. So breathe slowly. The third one is practice and embrace personal darkness and disappointments. Practice and embrace personal darkness and disappointments. And that's something that I love to help people with. And what I get to do as a coach has been just so much fun in this season, as people do have a little bit more time to spend kind of processing things. And so that's been really fun. The fourth thing is to release ourselves from and others from unrealistic expectations. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. What kinds of expectations are happening in and around us that that maybe we need to release people from? And Doc B, is there anything in your life? What kinds of expectations did you have before that you can't have now, so you have to release?
That's a good question. Well, as a healthcare,
maybe quiet in your house in the morning before your kids are awake, right? Quiet in your house.
Well, I think I share the same the level. I think I share the same kind of. I think we all share that we just don't know the answers, and the landscape is constantly changing. And even as a healthcare provider, people look to me and they hope that I have answers that other people don't. And with something like this is unprecedented. In my lifetime, I've never experienced anything like what our country or our world is going through. And I just really, no one knows the answers. And so, kind of just making the best of it and focusing on the things that we can control and we can influence, I think is really helpful.
Yeah. So what I hear you saying is that it's okay to accept the unknown in this season. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Accept the unknown, accept the mystery. What if instead of calling it the unknown, because that sounds a little scary, what if I can accept the mystery of what's happening right now and give myself permission to step into that mystery one moment at a time without having to have all the answers on the other side? What do you think?
I think that's great.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And then the fifth thing is take care and take action. Do y'all know your Enneagram numbers?
I don't.
You don't? All right, Dr. Brandan, we're going to have to do the Enneagram with you. I am a 2, so I feel compelled to help people all the time. And when I cannot, I get frustrated because it feels like that's what I'm made to do. But an Enneagram 2 can tend to get overwhelmed by trying to help too many people, and then we don't take care of ourselves. So one of the tips that I'm sharing with people right now is to be sure to take care of yourself first, right? Put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you go out and try to save the world, but then take action. And that's what both of you are doing. Doc B, Renee, both of you are definitely taking action in this season and helping people in the way that God created you to. So that's pretty exciting.
I want to do my Enneagram numbers.
Yeah, I'll share it with you. I'll share it with you,
Okay.
Renee. I'll bring you,
Okay.
I'd love to walk through the Enneagram with you. That'd be really fun.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so what else? Doc B, how else are you taking care of yourself? You said you're getting more sleep. What about diet? Let's head back to diet for a second. You said that eliminating sugar is important. I find that for me that eliminating or at least bringing down the level of carbohydrates that I'm taking in is really important too.
Yeah. I agree. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of bread and starches, they basically turn into sugar as soon as you eat them. So when I say reduce sugars, I kind of just lump that into one big category. And, looking at my list, I wanted to talk about, I skipped past the very first one, which was stay hydrated.
Ooh.
If we can just kind of think that water helps all of the processes of your body work better. Yes. Me too.
You got your water?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, we've
Drink
got
your water, everybody.
Gotta
That's the
stay
first
hydrated.
thing.
Especially the temperature, at least here in the Carolinas, the temperatures are starting to go up. So we've got to remember to stay hydrated right now.
Yeah, for sure. How much water do we really need? Do you know?
Oh, that's a good question. Lots.
You can actually overdo water. And I've had friends who, I think it's called hyponatremia, I think, for people who were preparing for marathons and stuff like that. They can actually drown, overdo water. But for most people, I think it's just about impossible, isn't it?
Yeah, technically, if you drink too much water, you can disturb the ratio of electrolytes and minerals in your body, and that's where you can get into trouble. Most people are not at risk of doing that. A simple strategy is use an electrolyte supplement to make sure that you're not doing that. So it is a good point. It's a good thing to be aware of. Hey, I've got one more tip. A lot of people are all of a sudden working from home, and the chiropractor in me is just cringing at the thought of people sitting on their laptops on their couch or
all hunched over.
All hunched over, yes. So like what you're doing. So don't fall into the trap of hunching forward and letting the head come forward. Please, if you're going to work from home, be aware of the ergonomics of your workstation and keep those shoulders back and keep that head back over the shoulders.
That's good. That's good. Does everybody feel themselves like sitting up a little straighter? No, that's good. Hey, I think Ed shared some information about how much water we're supposed to be drinking. I think he said half your weight. Wait, is that what he said?
Yep, half your body weight in ounces.
That makes sense.
That sounds about right.
Thanks, Ed. Super cool. Half my body weight in ounces. See, I have to do math again, and math is just not really my thing, but I appreciate that some people know how to do that stuff really well.
We'll get the calculator out later.
Right? Okay. So ergonomics, stay hydrated, wait. Let me ask you a question. How does one decide to eliminate sugars? That sounds so scary for people who are used to eating just whatever they want, whenever they want.
Well, so I like the idea. One thing that we've used with people in the past is the strategy of adding in the good things before they start removing the bad things.
Okay, can I ask you to use different language, because good and bad sounds judgy to me, and that doesn't work for me.
Okay, well,
healthy and unhealthy.
Unhealthy. Okay, good. Healthy and unhealthy. Nutrient dense versus nutrient undense, I guess you would say. So
poor. Nutrient dense versus nutrient poor, right?
Nutrient poor, that's the right term. If we
cool.
are, if we are, for example, surviving off of prepackaged food and fast food, rather than asking the person to just cold turkey cut out the nutrient poor foods, let's add in some vegetables. Let's add in some things that are nutrient dense first to get those benefits in our life. And then as your body is feeling healthier because you're having more nutrients in, it'll be easier to slowly reduce the nutrient poor foods.
So I hear you and I believe you, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be difficult for most of my friends to say, let's eat more broccoli instead of brownies.
Well,
but that's the challenge you're giving us right now, isn't it?
That's the challenge, and everyone is wired a little bit different. Some people are the kind of people that will dive in head first and they'll cut things out cold turkey, and if that works for you, great. Most of us are wired where maybe it's a process, and it's good to embrace the process.
Yeah, that's so great. I love what you're saying about embracing the process. I think that's so important. That's one of the things that I remind myself all the time is that I've not arrived, that this is not about arriving at a certain life. Life is not about arriving at a certain level and then being able to say, I'm here, I finally made it, I finally got it all together. It is instead, and maybe that's what I'm learning most even in this season, is that if I can embrace the mystery of who I'm created to be and just keep taking steps forward in courage, then it's a little more fun, right? I mean, it's just fun.
It's an adventure.
Yeah, it's a bit of an adventure. All right, did we cover all the stuff you wanted to cover, Doc B? Is there anything else? Oh, yeah, you know what? Let's just wrap up by talking just briefly about the capsules and what you went through to make sure that Vitamin D to the Rescue is the best product on the market.
Okay, so that's a good question. Thank you. So yeah, we founded Vitamin D to the Rescue so that we could address two major problems at the same time. So first and foremost, we are a vitamin D company. We have a liquid option and a capsule option. And again, 40 to 75% of the population is deficient in vitamin D, and they need a quality supplement that they can rely on. So I've worked with several of the best manufacturers in the US to make sure that this is a clean, quality product that works. And I can say it with a lot of confidence because I've used myself as a guinea pig all along the way. And I've had my blood tested multiple times, so I know that it works. And then really, the inspiration for starting Vitamin D to the Rescue is that we wanted to help people with their health and solve the vitamin D deficiency crisis that is out there. Then also what we wanted to do is use the sale of these bottles as a mechanism to fight human trafficking. And so for every bottle of vitamin D that is sold, we're giving $5 to credible organizations that have a good track record in making a difference in fighting human trafficking.
That's awesome. And I know, Doc B, that you are getting ready to give another gift to another organization, and we'll have an opportunity to reveal that information at a later date. And yeah, it's 12:45. We've been on for 45 minutes, and I think it's a good time to sign off. What do you think?
I appreciate it. I think this has been fun.
Yeah, it's been lots of fun. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. I keep calling you Ed. It's EJ. Forgive me. And Renee and Ashley. And we'll try to get the link out the right way next time.
He's a great guy. He wouldn't mind you calling him that.
That's right. That's right. He said. You are so funny. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy this time.
Go get some sunshine.
Thrive. Yeah, thrive in this time. And we'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.